So it's important also to realize some of the limitations within Teams, specifically relating to scheduling meetings and channels. So one thing is that when you use the calendar within Teams to schedule a meeting within a specific team or a specific channel, you are presented in the Add Channel option with all the teams that you're a member of. And within that, if you click on a particular team, you can choose a channel and the meeting will be scheduled for within that channel, which means that meeting would relate to files within that channel, chats already existing within that channel, making it very specific to the purpose of that channel within that team. However, you'll notice in this group in particular, where there are several hidden private channels that have a select membership. So the Biomedical Science Programme group team membership is about 27 individual members of staff. That also applies to the general channel as well as this public physiology strand channel. But the private channels have smaller groups of staff specific to, in the case of this team, the teaching strands. So each teaching strand has its own channel. Each channel has a subset of the overall team membership, but those aren't visible here. So what you can't do, unfortunately, at the moment within Teams is schedule a meeting within a specific channel if that channel is private. You can only schedule meetings within specific channels if those channels are public and therefore contain the whole membership. This does mean that all of the membership of a team will be made aware of a meeting. It will pop up and notify them there is one. All they have to do in that instance is decline the invitation if it's not one of a channel that they are particularly involved in. But if you are a member of a particular channel, or at least you are aware that you should be, such as the physiology academics should be always involved in physiology channel chats, posts, work and meetings, they should tick yes, whereas those that are in a different teaching strand, a different channel kind of area, may not be interested in the physiology stuff, but they're all, of course, are able to see the content. You can, however, within a specific private channel, so again, we'll go to a team that has private channels, and the padlocks next to them denote that they are private, and therefore they have specific members within the team membership. So if we go to this genetics teaching strand, so this genetics channel, you can still do meet now, okay, and give it a subject that would appear in the chat. Whereas if you are in a public facing or a team facing one, when you click on meet now, you have this additional option of schedule a meeting, okay? So that is a limitation of both scheduling meetings and private versus standard or public team-facing channels that you need to be made aware of when deciding what to do. So really the choice is whether you make a private channel, and when you want to schedule a meeting, you type in the individual members of that channel to the invitee list rather than choosing to have that in a channel. So really, if you want to have a meeting within a particular channel where it may well be scheduled at some point, there won't always be meet nows that you want to do, and where the meetings will relate to files that sit within the files tab of a specific channel, then really you probably want to make them standard just so that you have the ability to schedule them. I'd say it's dependent on what you think the channel might do and how genuinely confidential you think the contents of a specific channel are going to be and should remain when choosing whether to make new channel creations private or standard / team facing. The reason that you need to decide when you create it is that at the moment, also unfortunately, it is not possible to change the status of a channel. You have to, if you want to make a channel standard, having made it private, you can't change between the two. You would need to delete that private channel and then make a new one with a similar name and make that a standard one. So that's really the toss-up and the decision that you have to make within any team environment, really. And so that really covers the main limitations, I suppose, of Microsoft Teams that have come up to. The other limitations that you need to be aware of, just in general for the time being, are that at the moment, meetings can't be recorded. They will be able to in the future. It is one of the updates that Microsoft Teams is bringing in. Once recordings of meetings can happen, you can also generate a script or a dialogue from that meeting recording, and therefore it will make taking minutes less important in the future. And so that's very useful features that are coming up but aren't currently available, and therefore it's just worth bearing in mind that if you do absolutely need to record something that you need to record a meeting, you can't currently do it, and that is one reason why teaching activities, at least for the short term, even those in small groups where you may think it's easier to just invite a small subset of students by name, because you can't record them, you wouldn't be able to make it available to them after the fact for them to watch if they weren't able to attend it in the first place, or if they wanted to make further notes, and therefore Collaborate would still remain your primary portal for student engagement in that way. Private meetings and appointments, however, do work very well within Teams on a one-to-one basis with students, or even where it's something where you definitely will not be recording it and it is a genuine meeting between you, such as student, staff, rep forums, that sort of thing. So hopefully those limitations were helpful and don't put you off. There are always updates and changes coming through Microsoft Teams, and therefore there will be improvements. There are always suggestions. It's just worth bearing in mind some of these limitations for the moment, as we all start to learn how to use the tool more and more widely. Okay, thank you very much.